Once upon a time, there lived a widow woman and her son Jack on their small farm in the country. Every day, Jack would help his mother with the chores, chopping the wood, weeding the garden, and milking the cow. But despite all their hard work, Jack and his mother were very poor, with barely enough money to keep themselves fed.
What shall we do? What shall we do? We don't have enough money to buy seed for the farm this year. We'll have to sell our cow, old Bess, and with the money, buy enough seed to plant a good crop.
All right, Mother. It's market day today. I'll go into the town and sell Bessie. So Jack took the cow's halter in his hand, walked through the garden gate, and headed off toward town. He hadn't gone far when he met a funny-looking old man who said to him, "Good morning, Jack."
And good morning to you, good sir.
"Where are you off to on this fine morning?"
I'm going off to market to sell my cow, Bessie.
"Well, what a helpful son you are." "I have a special deal for such a good boy like you."
Beans?
3 magical bean seeds, to be exact, young man. 1, 2, 3. So magical are they, if you plant them overnight, by morning they'll grow right up into the sky. 'Cause you're such a good boy, that are all yours in trade for that old milking cow.
Really? And you're quite sure they're magical?
I am indeed, and if it doesn't turn out to be true, you can have your cow back.
Well, this sounds totally legal.
Back already, Jack? You sold old Bess so quickly. How much did you get for her?
Jack smiled and reached into his pocket.
Just look at these beans, Mother. They're magical. Plant them overnight and...
What? You silly boy! How could you have given away our milking cow for 3 measly beans?
And with that, she did the worst thing that Jack had ever seen her do.
She
burst into tears.
I'm
sorry.
Jack ran outside and threw the beans in the yard, thinking, "How could I have been so foolish? I've broken my mother's heart." When Jack woke up the next morning, his room looked strange. The sun was shining into part of it, like it normally did, and yet all the rest was quite dark and shady. So Jack jumped up, grabbed his jacket, and went to the window. What do you think he saw? Where the beans he'd thrown out into the yard, into the garden, had sprung up into a big beanstalk which went up and up and up until it reached the sky. Using leaves and twisty vines like the rungs of a ladder, Jack climbed and climbed and climbed until at last he reached the sky. When he got to the top, he found a house. The door swung open to reveal a horrible lady giant with one great eye in the middle of her forehead. As soon as Jack saw her, he turned to run away, but she caught him and picked him up and brought him into the house. She took Jack into the kitchen and gave him a chunk of cheese and a glass of milk. But Jack had only taken a few bites when, thump, 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 the whole house began to tremble with the noise of someone coming.
"Goodness gracious me, it's my husband,"
Said the giant woman.
"There's nothing he likes more than boys broiled on toast, and I haven't any bread left. Oh dear, I never should have let you stay for breakfast. Hurry, jump in here."
And she hurried Jack into a large copper pot sitting beside the stove just as her husband, the giant, came in. He ducked inside the kitchen and said,
"I'm ready for my breakfast. I'm so hungry I could eat 3 cows. What's this I smell? Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll have his bones to grind my bread."
"Nonsense, my dear.
said his wife.
We haven't had a boy for breakfast in ages. Now you go and clean up, and by the time you get back, your breakfast will be ready."
So the giant went off to tidy up. Jack was about to make a run for it when the woman stopped him.
Just wait until he's asleep,
She said.
he always has a little snooze after breakfast.
The giant returned to the kitchen, carrying a basket that had a hen and a harp. The giant placed down the basket, placed the hen beside the basket, and said,
Lay.
The hen laid an egg made entirely of gold, which the giant placed in a special bowl for placing those eggs before cooking them in omelets. The giant then picked up the harp and played 4 notes. When he was quite sure the giant was asleep, Jack crept out of the pot and began to walk out of the kitchen. Just as he was about to leave, he heard the sound of the hen cackling. Jack bit his lip, sighed, and went to grab the basket. Jack grabbed the basket and began to walk back out. But this time, the hen gave a cackle, which woke the giant, and Jack heard,
Wife, what have you done with the hen and the golden harp?
Jack ran as fast as he could, and the giant, realizing he'd been tricked, came rushing after. When he got to the beanstalk, the giant was only 20 yards away, when suddenly he saw Jack disappear. Confused, the giant peered through the clouds and saw Jack underneath, climbing down for dear life. The giant stomped his foot and roared angrily.
Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread.
The giant swung himself down into the beanstalk, and shook with his weight. Jack slipped, slid, and climbed down the beanstalk as quickly as he could, and after him climbed the giant.
As he neared the bottom, Jack called out, "Mother, please, hurry! Bring me an axe! Bring me an axe!" And his mother came rushing up with Jack's wooden chopping axe in hand. While she came to the enormous beanstalk, she was stock still with fright.
Jack jumped down, got hold of the axe, and began to chop away at the beanstalk. Luckily, because of all the chores he'd done over the years, he became quite good at chopping, and it didn't take long for him to chop through enough of the beanstalk that it began to teeter. The giant felt the beanstalk shake and quiver, so he stopped to see what was the matter. Then Jack gave one last big chop with the axe, and the beanstalk began to topple over. Then the giant fell down, and the beanstalk came toppling after. With a bit of patience and his mother's help, it didn't take long for Jack to get the sickly hen back in good health, and the grateful hen continued to lay a fresh golden egg every day. Jack used the money from selling the golden eggs to buy back Old Bess, purchase seed for the spring crop, and to fix up his mother's farm. He even had enough money left over to invite every one of his neighbors over for a nice meal, complete with music from the singing harp. And so Jack, his mother, Old Bess, the Golden Harp, and the Hen lived happily ever after.